nurses in some cases have been celebrating the fact that there have been breakthroughs with the coronavirus vaccine. Now, there have been issues with distributing the vaccine, but some of the nurses and doctors from the Boston Medical Center decided to celebrate the arrival of the vaccine to their facility by dancing, as you can see from the video right beside me. And I mean, come on, they've been working tirelessly. They've been face to face with this virus, risking their own lives to provide care to coronavirus patients. And so there is reason to celebrate here, right? It's a little bit of that light at the end of the tunnel. Hopefully this is the beginning of, getting people healthy and really combating this virus. Well, Tim Pool doesn't feel that way. Tim Pool feels differently, and let me just note that he's one of these people who realize that maybe spewing right-wing talking points might be a little more beneficial and profitable than actually having a spine and having principles. So he's repeated some of the right-wing disinformation about coronavirus, and then he had some, ridiculous things to say in response to those nurses and doctors celebrating. He says people are dying right now. Families are barred entry to the hospitals. Nurses and doctors are dancing on the graves of the dead while you can only watch from a distance. Okay, so what they're doing there, you moron, is celebrating the arrival of a vaccine that will save people's lives. And these doctors and nurses, unfortunately, have had to wait for the arrival of a vaccine for any real breakthrough in combating this virus because idiots like you have been spreading disinformation about COVID. And that leads to people questioning whether they need to wear masks, whether they should socially distance. I do want to provide one quick example for you. And then he included some stupid cartoon to make his point. I don't care, I don't want to go to that. But I do want to show you an example of what he said about COVID in the past. Wow, CNN says that only 6% of COVID deaths were COVID only, 94% of deaths with additional factors like heart disease and obesity. And what that is a talking point that was used by the right wing to make it seem like, no, COVID's not that big of a deal. It's like the flu. It's not that serious. It's just that all these people who are dying have all these pre-existing conditions, and that's what's leading to them dying. It's not COVID. The fact that he repeated that stupid talking point is so infuriating, especially since right now he's trying to have the moral high ground of judging frontline healthcare workers who have been trying to keep people alive during this pandemic. Garbage.
Yeah. All right. First of all, Tim Pool disorients me because I can't tell if it's summer or winter with that beanie he constantly wears.
24/7. Doesn't matter what season it is, cold, hot, it's got the beanie on.
Yeah, he could be in the middle of Joshua Tree National Park and he's like, got the beanie. Okay, just in case. All right, I get it. It's like your trademark thing. Anyway. Is that cool? Is that what we think that is? Anyway, all right, on to serious stuff. They are celebrating because not just because they can take the vaccine, but because now more people can take the vaccine so they won't get sick. You know why they're celebrating that? Because they're nurses and doctors. They save people's lives for a living. And in this case, they just went through 10 months at least of being right next to coronavirus patients and being exposed more than any other human beings in America. And they did it so they could save their lives. And then this guy turns around and says that they're dancing on their graves. Nah, these guys, they have no conscience, man. They're just like, oh, can I score a cheap political point here that'll get me in the headlines for saying something outrageous? And then I'll pretend that I have an intellectual point or that I care about humans. Yeah, I care about the patients, not the doctors or nurses saving their lives. They don't care about the patients. They're on the front lines for 10 months risking their own life to save other lives. No, but I get to make a cheap political point by pretending I care more. How many lives did you save? What did you do? Nothing, right? But now you're gonna attack nurses and doctors because at the end of this abysmal year, there was a ray of hope and they celebrated for a second for themselves and for others. No, dancing on their graves. Screw you. These guys, the number one problem, Anna, is that they're not genuine. These are not their real opinions. Like, so no, I'm not a mind reader. Maybe Tim Pool is not that bright, and he's a really vicious guy who thinks in the middle of coronavirus we should attack doctors and nurses because that makes sense. But my guess is more likely he's thinking just a lot like Trump. He's reading the room, and his room is filled with right-wing lunatics. So he's like, what do they like? What do they like? Oh, they like being super vicious. Oh, and to the nicest people in America, can do, no problem. Teachers, oh, you guys like hitting teachers. That's good. That's good. Whatever else, right? Oh, nurses and doctors. Yes, those are the people who help the most. So let's go get them. And I guarantee you that his crowd cheered wildly. They were like, yes, attack the people who are saving lives. Yes, go get him, Tim. I'm going to buy a beanie right now.
And remember, we're talking about nurses and doctors who, in the beginning of the pandemic, didn't even have the proper protective equipment as they were treating highly contagious coronavirus patients. And why didn't they have the PPE they needed? Well, if you guys can recall, I love bringing this up because no one else seems to care. I think it's a big deal. In early February 7th, I believe it was, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, which, by the way, where's Mike Pompeo been? He decided to tweet about how he's sending over PPE to Wuhan, China. Okay, great. I mean, it's very clear that the Trump administration at that point understood the severity of coronavirus. Why are they shipping PPE to a different country when we have a shortage here in the United States? We don't manufacture those products here in the United States. It's just, how about him? Is he dancing on anyone's grave? 340,000 Americans dead from this pandemic. Are you going to call out the Trump administration for that? Oh, you're not? Oh, you're going to blame the frontline healthcare workers. Okay, great.
I remember when Tim Pool pretended to be like an independent journalist that covered protests and was on the left generally. And he's like, there just isn't any money here, man.
Yeah,
I go to right wing. Oh my God, there's lots of money. And the thing, you say crazy things and then you get more money. The crazier you are, the more money you make. And then his shtick seems to be like, I'm just an independent journalist and I call out everybody. I mean, I just happen to call out the left all the time now. Before I used to be great supporters of theirs, but now I've seen the truth. Trump is so smart. So no. Every once in a while I criticize Trump. I'm an independent journalist. But remember, everybody, right wing's awesome. They're the brave ones. They're the courageous ones. They realize that really when black people say, for example, please don't shoot my kids, they're unarmed. They're the ones with racial grievances. And the crowd goes nuts, like, yes, black people are at fault, black people are at fault. You're so right, Tim. Here's more money, Tim. He's more. I was like, oh yeah, good. Now, but every once in a while, no, this is really unfair. This is really unfair. I once criticized Trump, like 7 months ago on a minor thing. And so I'm just calling it like I see it. I mean, I just think the right wing's right 98% of the time. I'm just calling it like I see it. Okay, if you say so, brother.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.